Join Harold and Delonica McDonald, the hosts of Love and Marriage Black Tie Affair, for an unforgettable evening of love and celebration at the Rap House. Get ready for a night surrounded by romance and elegance. This in-person event is the perfect opportunity to dress in your finest. As our special guest, you'll be one of the 100 gathered to hear leaders discuss love and marriage. We'll also have goodies to strengthen the trajectory of your relationship, and you can expect an evening filled with laughter, joy, inspiration, and even free giveaways, radio personalities, and much more. Don't miss out on this incredible Black Tie Affair. Mark your calendars and get ready for a night to remember. Friday, April 5th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Rap House, 151 North A.W. Grimes Boulevard in Round Rock, Texas. Tickets available at eventbrite.com or at Harold the Barber, located at 3021 South I-35 Frontage Road, Round Rock, Texas. Don't miss it.
Welcome to Love and Marriage Broadcast with your host, Harold and Delonica, on Life Choice Radio, designed to help you establish, strengthen, save, and restore your marriage. And oh yeah, find the road to it. Their passion for helping people worldwide find their way of success in relationships, rather single, married, or blended families, fuels them to share their wisdom they've gained over 20 years and counting. So you get ready to hear their approach to healing, restoration, hope, and encouragement. This is Love and Marriage. Now, here's your host, Harold and Delonica McDonald.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Harold and Delonica with Love and Marriage. And we are here. We are back again.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm glad we're back. I actually meant to say I'm glad. I'm glad we're back.
Mm-hmm.
I am good, though. But you guys,
Come
we're
on.
excited tonight.
You
about-
don't seem excited.
I am.
Well, yeah.
You know what? I am really excited because of what we're talking about tonight. But just really, really quick note. Hey, if you guys are watching us from wherever you're tuning in from tonight, let us know. Can you put it down in the chat? Let us know
Yeah.
what state, what country, what city, what organization, what church. Come on and represent tonight. And then also, if you catch us on replay, put in there hashtag replay and let us know that you're watching us. And then comment, hey, you guys, we want y'all to talk back. We want to have real talk tonight
Yes.
and talk about what's going on. You guys, I just want to just jump right in, though.
But you know what? I know that we had a busy day today,
We
and you are
did.
really tired.
Well,
You think?
yeah, I am tired, but, you know, I'm excited because we got a purpose, right?
Yeah.
So I always say, like, when people ask me, like, well, how are you doing? Or, you know, did you have a busy day? It was busy, but it was
really
productive.
It was productive.
It was productive and it was good. And I think whenever you're on a mission, right, like you're just doing something with a cause, you're moving with a purpose. Our lives are always constantly busy. But yeah, this week, of course, we're stepping it up for the Black Tie Affair. And there are moments when, you know, I just have to unplug and take a break throughout the day and just try to, you know, breathe a little bit. The one thing I notice is that through the years, you and I have learned how to apologize real quick. Because sometimes, you know, we could be so busy that we're kind of stepping on each other's toes and sometimes not even realizing it.
And that could have not been a kind word to say.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I want to apologize.
What, like stepping on toes? Or?
You know, saying that you're tired.
Oh, okay. No, but you kind of know what, you know, how the day was. It was busy. We've been moving since early this morning and just trying to, you know, get a lot of things done. But I like us. I like where we're at today. And I like that we don't, you know, just sometimes, about 20 years ago, we would have been frustrated with each other. We would have, everything would have stopped. Like,
We
it would've
ain't
been-
doing
we
nothing.
ain't doing nothing. Like, we're not
I don't-
moving past
I
here.
don't care who's looking, who's waiting on us.
And who's waiting on us or who's depending on us, we'd be like, no, until this gets straight or until we work this out. But it's like we've grown
Yeah.
since then,
Oh, yeah.
and we move with such a purpose, and we don't, if we notice, and that's what I love about us, like if we notice that, okay, wait a minute, one of us is not feeling too well, or wait a minute, you okay? We checking in on each other constantly. You good? You all right? What do you need? Just like at one point, I was like, hey, I gotta take a break. I gotta take a time out for a second. So you reroute it, so I can get something. I just love that right now. Like, just where we're at today. And sometimes you could look at it like 20 plus years ago. I could have looked at it and made a permanent decision.
I
You could have
remember
made.
there was a time when I felt like we could
We
not
couldn't
work
work together. Yeah, you used to say that all the time. But I actually thought we was the perfect couple, honestly, to work together because we both was very passionate and we love people. Both of us love people and we wanted to work for our church and work for our community. And we both had that fire. We just needed to learn our roles,
hmm
right? Like I was so used to bossing, right? And then hubby, he was a boss. So you bring us together and it's like, okay, wait, you got to submit to the mission.
Right.
Somebody got to submit to the mission, but
Right.
it was really learning the roles, learning our roles. And then I like it goes hand in hand of what we're talking about
hmm
tonight is that, you know, we got to make sure we understand each other. Our
hmm
communication is good.
hmm
And I don't think that we understood communication to its fullest
No,
back
we
then.
had to really work on that. But tonight we got Sifu
He
on
back
tonight,
on with us, you guys.
and man,
He's no stranger.
no, he's no stranger. He will be at the Black Tie Affair. He is our main speaker.
Hmm.
He's going to give us tools that we can use in our marriage. And
Yes.
then, do you realize that there's a lot of marriages that are hurting?
Oh, yes.
They need help.
Oh, yes.
They're screaming help
Uh-huh.
without screaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for real. I get
Wow.
it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And that's one of the reasons why we come on like we do. And we're bringing Seafood Karl Romaine on
Yes.
again because we understand, we hear you guys. We hear you guys out there. And we know that a lot of people are going through. We hear it like every day. We're talking to someone that is sharing the woes and the blues of marriage. But I think a lot of times what we don't understand is some of the tools that we can use.
hmm
And Sifu is going to help us with that even more
Yes.
tonight. Like some of the tools recognize certain things. So anyway, I don't want to keep going on and on.
Right.
We got this is going to be a great topic because this is
Yes.
one area that we needed work on definitely, and it's helped us 20 something plus years later, 24 years later, it's helping us.
Yes.
Yes.
So tonight, could you guys help me wish or help me bring Carl Remain on our show again? Welcome, Carl Remain.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me on again. I'm so excited to
Yeah.
be here. Tonight.
I need to put a little applause in there.
Oh God.
It's
So,
interesting listening to you guys doing your intro, and all I kept thinking was submit to one another in love,
mm,
Yeah,
right?
I love it.
Sometimes the most simplest thing is just so profound, right? And just
Yes.
listen. Well, we had to learn our roles, but we also have to
Yeah.
submit to each other, right?
mm, mm, mm.
Is that
Yes.
really, and hearing you guys talk about that, I just think that's such a great example of what we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, well, I really had to learn this. Like, I remember when we started Life Choice Radio, and it was just we
We,
went
we will be
we went
arguing
all the way
all the
to
way
the
to the
radio
radio
station,
station. Then when we get on the radio, hey,
and we're
welcome
just
to Life Choice Radio.
we would light up. We would light up.
Mhm.
And it would seem like all the everything, it was almost like giving birth to a baby because
Mm,
we would have those contractions and then as soon as we got in the studio, it was like all of that was over with. Like we're here for a purpose for the people and we're going to give it to them. Like we're going to make sure everybody who's listening get what they came here for to listen. But what I had to learn was like my husband is the CEO of the radio station. And
mm,
so, what is it that he needs done for us to make this a success? And it was like, but
mm,
once I got that, he is my husband, but he's the CEO of Life Choice Radio.
mm.
And so, when I switched hats, and I was like, what would I do? I think you even asked me, like, would you talk to your bosses like that at work? Would you talk to your supervisor like that? And I was like, man, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Like, yeah, because what we not gonna do is you're not gonna be in here doing it. But then I had to, this is like our thing, right? See, for like this is what we're building. And we gotta make sure that we're it's not gonna work if the house is divided.
Mm-mm.
If the
That's right.
business is divided, it's just not gonna work. And so even at work, I still had to learn how to line up. If you don't
Mhm.
line up, I don't care where you at. If you don't know how
Mhm.
to line up and you guys don't flow, it's not going to work. At least it's not going to be as well as it could be.
Mhm.
So I had to, it started with me. I had to look at myself. I had to put my husband aside and say,
Mm,
okay, Delonica, what
mm,
do you need to do to line up and make this
Mhm.
smoother on him? He's stressing. This is, he's dealing with celebrities and celebrities have their own thing going on. What can you do
that's
to
right.
make it easier? So what is your role?
Mhm.
It's not just your role, but it's how are we going to come together and do this as a team?
Yes, as a team.
How do I support you? Right? How do you support me? Because
Mhm.
sometimes we're involved in things and we are creating something and we haven't really stepped back to think about, well, what are we really manifesting here? And are we
Mm,
being fluent with our purpose,
thank
right? Which is so important, right?
you.
Like you
Mm,
said it earlier, a house divided upon itself cannot stand, right? The only way it's going to stand is if we have congruency in our purpose. What are we really here for? What is it that we're actually trying to achieve?
yeah. Oh,
So you
that's
got to go back
good.
a little bit. Okay, have we talked about this? Have we put the plan together? Right? What is your role? What is my role? How do we come together on this? No different from
Mm,
running a household. I'm sure you did the same thing when you were raising kids, right? Okay, you're going to
yeah.
take the football practice. Okay, I'm going to take them to this one to basketball, whatever the story was, right? I'm going to cook. You're going to do this. Like it's a plan. It's got to come together, right? And it takes a lot of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's good. So, Sifu, on that line of communication, and it takes a
Mhm.
lot of it. One of the things
Mhm.
we was talking about earlier, a little earlier, was misunderstanding.
Mhm.
And
Sort
in
of
some
introduction.
ways,
Yeah.
yeah, before the introduction, yes. And I think sometimes we don't communicate as much as we need to,
Mhm.
and so we create an atmosphere of misunderstanding. So
Mhm.
we think we know what the other person is thinking or
Mhm.
saying or
Mhm.
intentions without
Yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit
The
about
big
that?
yeah, jumping to conclusions is a big one, especially with couples. Oh, he doesn't
Mm,
need to talk to me. I already know what he's thinking, or I know what she's thinking. She always thinks this way, right? So when we have that, we're talking about jumping to conclusions, right? Making assumptions. There's also black and white thinking. There's like no gray area. It's either this way or it's that way. So how do we come together when we're having this kind of a conflict, right? Or
Mhm.
maybe it's emotional reasoning, right? Where I decide, well, my emotions are right and my emotions are dictating the reality of the situation, which we know emotions aren't always accurate, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Catastrophizing, where you're visualizing the worst case scenario. Well, if he does this, then this is going to happen and it's all going to fall apart and it's going to be the worst experience in the world. So there's many different ones of these cognitive distortions, right? There's things like we talked about black and white thinking, jumping to conclusions, making assumptions. There's your shoulds. Shoulds are a big one,
Mhm.
right? Should do this, he should do that, you should do this, you should do that, right? And that's a big one that gets in the way of people coming together, right? Because we'll all have different experiences and different perceptions,
Mhm.
right? So when you say
Mhm.
you should do this and you're pointing that finger at them, remember there's three fingers pointing back, right?
mm, mm. That's good. That's
Wow.
good.
Wow.
That's good. But that's a Bible scripture.
Quit pointing fingers at me.
Yeah, judging. Yeah, judging. Yeah,
Judging.
judge somebody, and then the kind of you condemn yourself. And
That's right.
that's a true experience for me personally. Like I remember sometimes my husband, he is just you are really such a beautiful man. I really have to say that. Like in all these years we've been
You
together.
know she's being nice.
He's taught this is so true. Like he's taught me so much, right? Like I as a woman, I think we articulate very well our feelings. And when we're feeling something, we just regurgitate it. We almost sometimes I almost have to hold my mouth down sometimes, like put a lock on it, like be quiet. You didn't have to say that, Delonica. But, you know, I would be so quick to tell my husband, like, you did this, you didn't do that, you said that, you shouldn't have said this. And then it would be like a long time later. And I think I did the same thing. And he never said anything. He
Hmm.
never said anything. And I would go back to him and I'll say, Harold, I said, baby, like, I did that. You never brought it to me. You never said anything. He was like, "Well, you pray." So I knew God would be talking to you about yourself. I didn't feel like I had to. I feel like you will come to the place where you'll come you'll see yourself. And so I learned that through the years with him, not just with him, but even our children or other people around me. I don't have to be so quick to come to a conclusion or say something. Yeah.
But I
I had
always,
a, I had,
even when you hear you talking about, how I will allow you to come to your conclusion.
Mm,
The thing was is that I just knew that God would deal with you, or
mhm.
I just sometimes we got to give people room to grow.
That's
You
what you
know,
would always say.
even when we would deal with the kids,
Mhm.
yeah.
I would always just step back, let her do her thing.
Yeah.
But then when I want to say something, she's really like, "Oh no, no, don't do that, don't do that." I'm like, "Sweetie, sweetie, I didn't say anything when you disciplined the kids." And but we learned and we grew from that.
We did, yeah. Yeah.
You learn how to
What's your
work
story?
together and how to approach a situation,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? Giving the person grace, right? Room to
Mhm.
grow, room to make
Mm,
mistakes. It's critically
that's
important.
it. That's it.
Hmm.
And trusting each other. And one of the
Yes.
things I had to learn, and I'm just give this back to Sifu, like, because I want to hear what else Sifu is saying. But like, I had to learn this, like, his way is not my way, and
Mhm.
it doesn't make him wrong. It's just a different way. And when I begin to trust the process, and even and I'm gonna just say this, like some of us wasn't raised by a father.
Mhm.
I mean, as far as like, my father was there, but he wasn't there to navigate me through how to communicate with a man and how to listen, how to trust what he does. So I lack that, and I see that a lot of women friends have lacked that male role in their lives to teach them, or show them how men operate. So sometimes it was a trust factor of like trusting his way is okay, even though it's
Mhm.
not mine.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Even if the father was in the home, it depends on the relationship the daughter had with the father,
Hmm.
right? Because if their relationship wasn't working, they're still going to approach this relationship in a certain way, right?
Hmm.
So if the dad had a good relationship with his daughter, she's more likely than to have good relationships with men,
Mm.
right?
Okay, good.
When it comes to certain things, I noticed over the last couple of weeks as I've been doing different coaching with different people, a lot of the guys talk about how they approach disagreements, how they're approaching certain things. And one of the things that came up is that they're not really communicating.
Mhm.
So they don't dive into it head first and just kind of approach the situation. They might start with a different topic and slowly work their way over. Meanwhile, their wife or their girlfriend is thinking, he's not addressing the situation and I need to fix it now. And that
Mhm.
creates
Mm.
Mhm.
tension in some
Mhm.
dynamic, right? As well. So this miscommunication, this making assumptions thing, it does come up a lot
Mhm.
and it gets in the way. So we really want to try to refrain from that. And then the other part, what you were saying before about trust, is never question intention.
Mhm.
Mm.
When we
Never
trust,
question and intentions.
yeah, when we trust, we know that the other person has our best interest and the best interest of our children.
Mm,
So why
Mm,
would I ever question his intention if I trust him?
wow.
mm.
Wow. When did you
Yes.
start trusting me? No, I mean, I know I made a lot of mistakes, but where was it? Where was that time when you really started trusting me?
Mm. I think too when I stopped to be really transparent is that when I strengthened my relationship with God.
Mm,
Mm,
And the more I strengthen my relationship with the Lord, I just can sit in his lap literally and talk to him and get peace and strength, understanding. Sometimes it was me praying for you. Sometimes
mm,
it was me just sitting back and trusting. Sometimes it was, um, I had to be okay with sometimes letting you make mistakes.
mm,
I felt like it because of my upbringing. um, it was hard for me to let people I love make mistakes, which really is controlling.
mhm,
I try to control everything so that nobody can fall and have a boo boo. Like, I don't want
mm,
you to fall and cut yourself or hurt yourself, or I don't want you to fall and hurt the family. I saw as a child that there was great consequences
mm,
behind that. So I had to I had to go through healing. I had to get therapy and
mhm,
work through some stuff. But really, definitely, my relationship with God, as it began to strengthen,
mhm.
then I saw myself trusting you
Wow,
wow.
that's good.
more.
You
Yeah.
really had to learn to do
Yeah.
not worry, right? How to
I
sit back.
really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
Mm.
know that, God has it.
And me too.
Hmm.
I had to really uh, trust her because I had went through so many different relationships. It kind of, uh, you know, kind of distorted my understanding of women.
Mm,
And I knew that she was a good woman for me, but I had to trust some of the things she would do, like, okay, you saying sorry, is that for real?
Yeah.
Or, I'll be like,
Yeah.
um, are you for real? You say you love me?
Hmm.
No.
mm,
I had to work through those things, man. And I had to ask God to really help me
Hmm.
yes.
to uh, not push someone I love away. I
Mm,
had to really work hard on that.
Oh, that's really
mm,
good.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
really work hard on not pushing her away.
Hmm.
And there was a time in our life where there was a moment where I said, you know what, Bing, she's the one. It was like, no, she's the one.
Wow.
mm.
And it was a which I call a eureka moment or whatever. It was just like, wow,
Hmm.
she's the
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you said, and I think is critically important, uh, the methodology that I use is called the triangle method. Heal the
Hmm.
past, focus on the present, and create a compelling future. And so many
Yeah.
times we come to relationships with an unhealed past, and we spew whatever we're bringing onto the other person like it's their fault,
Mm,
like they did this
Absolutely.
to me,
Yeah.
right? Anger, guilt, resentment, shame, and it's not their fault. They are not the person who
Mhm.
hurt you. They're not the people from your past. This is a whole new individual. And yes, they may have their issues. They may even do something that triggers a certain feeling, but they are a
Mhm.
different individual. And we need to keep that in mind when we show up in this new relationship. This is why I always encourage people do the work, right?
Yeah.
mm,
A lot of people will jump from one relationship to another. The statistics
mhm.
within 3 years of a divorce, a man will be remarried
Mm.
Wow.
quickly,
Mm.
right? During that time, most people don't do the work to even be in another relationship.
Interesting.
About that,
Mm.
right? Go ahead.
I got a question, Seafood. Do you find women leaving out of the marriage more than men?
Well, statistically speaking, 66% of the time women file divorce and men don't even know it's coming. They
Wow.
file
Oh.
the
Wow.
January, I believe is January 14th, 15th is like the biggest day for divorce lawyers. That's when most
Wow.
people file right after the holidays.
What? Say that again?
66% of women will file in January after the holidays. Men
Wow.
won't don't know it's coming. And there's different reasons for that. Now, the other thing that happens is when somebody does file, typically they've had time to consider it, to think about it. And for the other person, it's like a shock. They're
Mm.
still used to it, but this person is moving along faster than they are because they've already mourned the relationship. They've already come to the place where they've made the choice that I'm leaving.
Mm. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yes, yes. Oh, wow. Seafood, this is something because um I'm just like just stunned.
Blown away by that?
How yes, about it's about the stats on that, but like from another perspective though, why is it that you're shocked when the other person, comes with a divorce, um, or present you with divorce papers? Because I'm sure you knew that there was problems. Is there some type of thought
You
process or
may
some,
you may have known there were problems.
but not that
They've
bad?
recognized the severity of the problem. I'll tell you the truth. 9 out of 10 times when a man comes to me for coaching, for help in the relationship, it's late in the game, right?
Mm,
One, and we've got to do a lot of work to repair things.
mm,
It's deep. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of sessions. We got to go deep and we got to go quick because we've got to, like, you know,
Try to salvage.
CPR,
Yeah.
yeah, salvage it.
Yes.
When a woman comes to me, she's still on the fence. She's still thinking about it. She's still
mhm,
trying things out. She wants to figure out
Amazing.
how to make things work. How do I communicate with them? Is it me that's not understanding things? Right. So, two different
Mhm.
perspectives altogether. Right. And partly because, as guys, we think about things differently. Right. And sometimes, uh, we may be caught up with work and responsibilities and paying bills and thinking that that's what she really wants, when what she really wants is not just that, but she wants you to connect with her, spend time with
mm,
her, do the same things you did before when you were like, hey baby, like, oh, like dating her, right? And I'll say
mhm,
it all the time, I think you got to date your wife.
mm.
Mhm.
You got to date
That's
your wife.
good.
You can never stop dating your wife.
That's good because I still date her. I still date her, and even though we've been together for so long, I still had to do them things that I did in the beginning to to keep her happy, to keep her
Mhm,
engaged, and
mhm.
I have to do this, continue to do them things. Still pay attention to her, still tell her I love her. Um, it's something that I have grown to know
Mhm.
and to learn. That's
Yeah,
just the way it is. It's
it
got to
is.
be like that.
That's
But
right.
you know what,
And
Steve? I
it's
think
important in
too.
your relationship, right?
Yeah, Sifu, I think one thing, I was just talking to our youngest son yesterday, and I was telling him that I really like love your dad. And I was like, but I respect him. And I was
Mm,
like, we're 24 years in, and I honor him and respect him a lot more than when I first met him and didn't really know him.
Mm,
I just knew like his profile, like his, the representative.
mhm,
And but it's like I think sometimes as couples we get the wrong um you see Harold and I now, a younger couple who just been married 2 years, 5 years, and they're like, wow, you see the way he treats his wife, or you see the way she treats him. But we had to work up
We had to
to
work.
this.
Yeah.
Like and I think that's where we think things are perfect, but nothing is perfect. You work on parenting, you work on your career, you work on your business. You got to put in the work. And you said that. I'm piggybacking off of what you said earlier. But I really just don't. I feel like sometimes it's a fantasy
Mm.
when I've told you once, I don't like that. Well,
Hmm.
sometimes because a person is used to doing that for 20 something years before y'all got together, or 30 or 40 years before you guys got together, it takes time to turn a cruise ship around.
Yes. There you go.
And we
Yes.
talked about that earlier too. Give each other room to grow. But
Yes.
I just think that, some you got if you want like this love, then
Hmm.
what are you doing to put in the work? What deposits are you making? Are you taking out the time to date your wife? Are you taking out the time to understand your husband, understand where he's at? Like there was a time when hubby come home and he's irritated, and I would take it personal.
Hmm.
And I'll be like, what did I do today? Like, well, I ain't seen you all day. Why you irritated with me? And it took me a while to learn that sometimes he just got a lot on him. He's probably seen 100 customers that day.
Hmm.
Just let him come home and cover him. Make sure his house is full of peace, or I
Yeah.
just give him that time to unwind.
Hmm.
It took me a while to learn these things.
Me too. It took me a while to learn these things as well, to really, I had to learn, I had to learn how to talk to you. you
Yeah.
know, I
He,
Yeah.
had
he
to
used to call
really,
me a crybaby. He'd be like, baby, you be crying a lot. You be whining all the time.
You guys talk a lot about communication, but let's talk about the work, because the work is, yes, about communication, but there's more to it,
hmm.
right? Investing is part of the
Yes.
work.
Mm.
Talking about
Oh,
right now,
Yes.
how are you sewing into your partner and how are you sewing into the
oh, that's
relationship,
good. That's
right?
good.
It's values. You talked about respect. You respect your husband. Well, if you respect him, then you will do what? What will you do if you respect him? How will you
Mm-hmm.
treat him? And if he
Mm-hmm.
respects you, how do you expect to be treated? That's
Mm-hmm.
a conversation in itself,
Hmm.
right? So for example, Harold, if you respect Delonico, how will you treat her?
I will treat her with love. I will talk to her in a manner that I would talk to my mom, because I love my mother.
Hmm.
I respect my mother. So
Mhm.
I had to look at her as such, and I wouldn't put her out there. I wouldn't front her off in front of people. That's something that we said we will not do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that I have changed in order for our relationship to work.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
I had to change. And the
Right.
thing
And then,
is, seafood,
yeah.
is that it wasn't just about her. I had to focus on me,
Right.
you know. And sometimes we focus on the other person
Mm-hmm.
than focusing on me. What
Ourselves.
is it that I can change?
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's and then for Delonica, same question,
Yeah.
right? If you respect Harold, then you will.
Yeah. I this almost the same thing. Is just honoring him, making sure he's respected in his home. When we out, privately, I watch my tone. That was an issue at the beginning. He said,
Yeah.
don't raise your voice.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't raise my voice, but I could talk real low and it's he's like, you screaming. And I learned it was my tone, my facial expressions. So my kids would say that, like, you look at us in church, yeah, you learn that to get that look at church. Well, hubby wasn't, that was disrespectful to him. My tone, I had to work on my tone. So making sure that I wasn't too overpowering, if I can use that word. Like
Mhm.
being mindful that he is a man and he's the head of my household,
Mhm.
and to honor him for that. And because if it was, our CEO at the business, or the when I worked for the government, and the governor would come in, there's a certain level of respect.
Share when we went to the counselor or the counselor, and you was telling him how I serve for my leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, certain things I just didn't get. I felt like Harold should respect me the way he respect the leader. And I was like, I see him and he doesn't say nothing. But when it come to me, he got a lot to say. And I just want him to respect me the way he respect the leader. And that therapist told me, he said, men don't function that way. Like, we give who we work for, or who we submitting ourselves to, or who we call a mentor or a father, we give them respect, but that same respect we give out, we want that from our family.
Mhm.
And it made, I mean, it just was like a puzzle piece put together for me. I understood that. I got it when he said that. Um and so I going back to, just circling back around, seafood, like for me it is, actually, when I feel like hubby's not as loving as he should be, I really take a step back and say, well, did I drop the ball anywhere with respect and honor?
Mhm.
Did I talk to him a certain kind of way? Sometimes it's sharing his scars in front of others, just making sure that I'm thoughtful, I'm mindful, I'm polite. I
Right.
treat him with honor and respect the way I would someone who I highly regard. And I do highly regard him. So what is that? How does
Yeah.
that look? Like you said, if you unfold that. And so a lot of times, C4, I have to go back and apologize. He may not even say anything, but I felt like, oh, one time he told me to sit my spirit down. He was like, I
Sit
was
your yeah.
sit
Sit your spirit
spirit
down.
down.
You
And
said it.
Sifu, I was trying to help him. I was like, we going the wrong way. Like, this
Right.
is the wrong way. You should pull over. And I'm just trying to tell him to help. I thought I was trying to help him out. But he was like, you know what? He just stopped the truck and he was like, you need to sit your spirit down. You just
Mhm.
need to sit your spirit down. But I felt that in my soul. I was like,
Mhm.
I am kind of strong right now. Like, I am all just a lot
Mhm.
right now, and I could feel it. So yeah, that's my way of being respectful, not doing things behind my husband's back.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is not doing things for the children and not telling him,
mhm.
not letting him in.
Yeah,
That was an issue we had.
yeah. We
You
had to
know,
learn that. I had to learn that.
yeah,
It's also honoring your sacred space. There's
yes,
sacred
and his
space
sacred
between,
space, like
well,
his
his sacred
his
the
snacks.
sacred space between you as well. And
Absolutely,
understanding that sacred space is in a place for outsiders. It stays between
that's
you two,
right. That's
Mhm,
right?
right.
And you don't bring up stuff from that sacred space outside of the relationship,
mhm,
because when
mhm.
you violate his
You,
ability to be with you, he will not feel safe.
mhm,
Just like you wouldn't feel
mhm,
safe. He shared
That's good.
something that you shared with him that you didn't want shared with others,
That's
mhm.
good.
That's good.
right?
That's good.
And a
That's
big
really
part of
good.
what we're talking about here is our rules, our agreement for the relationship. You mentioned love before, and you mentioned there are times when you didn't feel loved, right?
Hmm.
That's because you have
Mhm,
a rule about love, right? Like, if Harold loves you, then he will do what?
Hmm.
Like,
mhm,
use the
Yeah.
if then to define your rules and the conditions,
Hmm.
right? There are conditions, right? So if he loves you, what will he do?
mhm. That's good.
He'll come home, he'll greet me like this, he'll do that. Like, there is an expectation. Sometimes those expectations are not vocalized, and that creates a huge misunderstanding, right?
Mm,
If he doesn't communicate his expectations of you and you don't communicate your expectations of him, neither one of you understand. Then we get into this mind reading thing. Well, he must be upset because he didn't come
mm,
home and do this, or she's upset with me because she didn't do that.
mm.
That's good. That's good. That's a true story,
It is. Wow.
That's a true story. Yeah.
But we got about 5 minutes.
Oh
We got
my
5 minutes. So,
goodness.
Sifu, can you just share with our audience again
That's good.
how they can reach you
Mm.
and tell them where you're going to be at this Friday?
Well, this Friday, I'm going to be at your Black Tie Affair for marriage. And I encourage everybody to show up and be a part of it. And we're going to take you through, I'm going to take you through like exercises, give you tools, give you understanding, things that you can implement right away that night for your relationship to take it to the next level and make it better. So I encourage you to participate in that event. This Friday night, I'll be on at it's 9. My time is different from yours, right? You guys are Central, I'm Eastern, right? So I'm about
Right.
9:45 my time,
45.
right?
Yes. And then, yes.
8:45 our time.
Yes.
45,
And that's Central
right?
Standard and Eastern Standard Time. Because I know people, yeah, because I know,
Right. What time is your event
everybody's
start?
times is different. It's
It's a black
the
tie,
events.
it's black tie, so look your best, be your best, right? What time's your
Yes.
Friday? What time's
It
the event
starts at
start?
7:30, 7:30 Central Standard Time. Yes.
Mhm.
We're going to have fun. We're
Yeah.
going to have
And
fun.
I just that my thought, my hope is that couples that come, like we really need our fire lit and strengthened. For some of us, we just need to get together and connect, reconnect. We've been working, we've been grinding, we've been, building. And so, yeah, you just need time to come together as a couple and just relax. So, Sifa, we're so excited about you participating and really giving nuggets. Definitely, um, you guys need to go get Sifu's book. Really need to get his book. Sifu, I can't wait till you write the marriage book.
Well,
Yeah,
right now,
like,
3-day love renewal challenge, and it's free.
mm,
It's on. So if you go to loverenewalchallenge.com, you can enroll there, sign up, and then it's going to launch at the end of April. It's 3 full days, and you get lots of tools, lots of materials. We even have a special VIP bonus session. So participate,
oh,
get all the
oh, that's
tools.
nice.
That's good.
That's
Oh, that's
nice. Do
good.
I have a link for that? Because we would love to put that down in the
Sure.
chat box for.
Loverenewalchallenge.com. Real
Okay,
simple.
got it. Okay,
And
wonderful.
All
you
right.
don't have to be in a relationship. You can be single to participate.
Oh, see, look at there.
Good, good. Thank you. Thank you, Sifu Remain. We really appreciate you.
Mhm.
Um, man, can't wait until this Friday to hear you do your thing.
Yes,
Thank you. I'm excited
yes,
to be there.
All right.
yes. Thank you, Sipo.
Oh man.
Oh,
That
that was
was good.
good.
That was good. Hey, listen, you guys, this Friday, April the 5th, 2024, at the
Yeah.
Rap House, it's going down. Love and Marriage Black Tie Affair starts at 7:30 p.m. at the Rap House at 3079 Whitlaw Way, Round Rock, Texas, 78665. You can get your tickets. And we almost sold out.
Yeah,
We almost
yeah,
sold out. So you
yeah.
can go to Eventbrite. You may can get your ticket. You may not can get your ticket. But
Because people are still booking.
but
Yeah.
listen, hey, we would like to see you there. And this was just a good show.
It really was
This was a
because
good show.
I think that we need more talk, just the real talk, like, and we
Mhm.
need to see real people. And so, and I appreciate Sifu. He had us on here and he was, you know, not just telling us what needs to happen,
Right.
but also wanting to use us as an example of how to walk through certain things. So that was wonderful. I love some of the questions. And it's so much more that Sifu had to share. I
And,
just, yeah.
well, they got to come Friday night. You got to come Friday night.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, I'm sorry. You got to come Friday night.
Wow.
Friday night is the night.
It's tonight. We're ready.
Come suited and booted.
Amen.
Yes. All right.
We're ready.
Hey, we love you. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Peace.
Join Harold and Delonica McDonald, the hosts of Love and Marriage Black Tie Affair, for an unforgettable evening of love and celebration at the Rap House. Get ready for a night surrounded by romance and elegance. This in-person event is the perfect opportunity to dress in your finest. As our special guest, you'll be one of the 100 gathered to hear leaders discuss love and marriage. We'll also have goodies to strengthen the trajectory of your relationship, and you can expect an evening filled with laughter, joy, inspiration, and even free giveaways, radio personalities, and much more. Don't miss out on this incredible black tie affair. Mark your calendars and get ready for a night to remember. Friday, April 5th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Rap House, 151 North A.W. Grimes Boulevard in Round Rock, Texas. Tickets available at eventbrite.com or at Harold the Barber, located at 3021 South I-35 Frontage Road, Round Rock, Texas. Don't miss it.
You just experienced the Love and Marriage broadcast with Harold and Delonica. They hope you took notes and have some aha moments and are ready for some more. You can join them on Facebook with Love and Marriage Talks on Facebook.com/Love and Marriage for Purpose, or live on YouTube at Love and Marriage with Harold and Delonica. Tell Harold and Delonica your love story. They listen to every pitch, and you may be chosen to come on as a guest. Send your story to loveandmarriageradio@gmail.com. Don't forget to tell Harold and Delonica who you are and where you're located. Their show is shown all around the world. Thanks for tuning in to Love and Marriage Broadcast.